Welcome to our next lesson in renewing image bearers. Today we're going to talk about the cross of Christ. Here are some of the key concepts from the cross study. The first one is that sin separates us from God. The second one is how does this wall of sin come down? The third concept, key concept, is the cross is the demonstration of God's love. And the fourth is that the cross of Christ ought to compel us, that it transforms us, that it changes us, that we are compelled by God's amazing love. So a few weeks back we spoke about the wall of sin, and we were left with this question: how does this wall of sin come down? Whether we knowingly or unknowingly answer at different times, either through good moral works. We can say, the wall of sin can come down by reading our Bible and praying. Again, nothing wrong with doing good things or reading our Bible or praying. Okay, please don't get me wrong. Or some of us might even say, the wall of sin comes down by just going to church. If you just go to church, you'll be fine. And again, I'm not mocking this or minimizing. We should be going to church. We should be in fellowship with other believers. It's very important. Okay. What I am putting forth before us is that how the wall of sin comes down? And the short answer is no. So how does the wall of sin come down? And that's what we're going to look at. So let's turn our Bibles to Isaiah 53 and start in verse 1. Who has believed our message, and to whom has the arm of the Lord been revealed? He grew up before him like a tender shoot, and like a root out of dry ground. He had no beauty or majesty to attract us to him, nothing in his appearance that we should desire him. Verse 3, he was despised and rejected by mankind, a man of suffering and familiar with pain. Like one from whom people hide their faces, he was despised, and we held him in low esteem. Surely he took up our pain and bore our suffering, yet we considered him punished by God, stricken by him and afflicted. Verse 5, he was pierced for our transgressions. He was crushed for our iniquities. The punishment that brought us peace was on him, and by his wounds we are healed. We all like sheep have gone astray. Each of us has turned to our own way, and the Lord has laid on him the iniquity of us all. How does the wall of sin come down? One answer and one answer only: Jesus Christ, and him taking upon himself the punishment meant for us, so that we can return to our Maker. Isn't that amazing? And so as we go through the cross study, please, I pray that this affects us afresh every day, in fact, because Jesus is the foundation of our faith. It is because of him and in his death and resurrection that we can have new life. So let's look through some scriptures. Let's start with the emotional suffering of Jesus Christ. And here are some scriptures from the Passion account that really highlight the emotional suffering of Jesus Christ. Matthew 26, verse 36 to 46. Meditate on it. Think about it before you continue with Matthew 26, verse 47 to 56. And then followed by verses 57 to 68, and then 69 to 75. We see emotional suffering that Jesus is encountering before he even gets to the physical suffering. And so as we look at the physical suffering of Jesus, Matthew 27, verse 26 to 44, reflect on these verses. Pray about it. Think about it. Let it hit your heart, hit your lev, as we spoke about last week, afresh. The spiritual suffering of Jesus, Matthew 27, verse 45 to 59. As you, again, reflect on these verses, the why is so essential in grasping the powerful truth of the cross of Christ. So the why, Romans 8, 31 to 35, please study it out and reflect on each of the verses and meditate on them. And then compelled by the love of Christ. 2 Corinthians 5, verse 14 to 15. The cross of Christ is not something we just receive or we encounter to just continue on with our old life. It is meant to change us. It compels us to make a decision either for Christ or not for Christ, but it definitely demands an answer. That's how powerful the cross is. So here's the assignment. It's a simple one, hopefully impactful one. Watch the movie Risen with your team members. I know this might take a bit of coordination with the pandemic and so on, but it's well worth it. Take time to watch the movie Risen. If you haven't seen it, please do watch it. If you have seen it, watch it again. It's well worth it. And so the Risen movie really captures both the crucifixion but also the resurrection. And then please do meet with your team leader. Hopefully, this lesson has been helpful. Hopefully, you have a great week and the cross of Christ really transform our lives in our innermost being. May God bless you and look forward to seeing you again next week when we will talk about how do we receive this amazing gift that God has offered all of us. Till then, God bless you and have a great week.